And yeah, so middle of the pack, which isn't too bad.
Yeah, it don't sound bad. The fourth place.
Yeah.
Out of 8 million. Yeah, yeah. I noticed, I was watching like some of the highlights and stuff. Like the audience, it was very small. Like, like what was your thoughts on that? Like, you like, do you think it should like it could be a way that it could be a larger audience?
So down in Tampa, hmm. Well, I wasn't paying attention too much of the audience.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, women's physique and women's bodybuilding, um, they are they are probably the least popular
yeah,
women's divisions in there.
yeah,
Obviously, bikini is going to be the most popular. Wellness is usually the second most popular, and then there's figure as well, which is um, or figure could be a little bit more popular than wellness. Really, it just really depends. But
right.
there's a lot of interest in those divisions. But
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, the women's physique and the women's bodybuilding divisions, we're just kind of left as the sideshow, so to say, so to speak. We're not going to be drawing a whole lot of crowds, unfortunately,
Yeah,
because obviously, our look is not going to be drawing the most attention. But I will
yeah,
say, just in general, the amount of people, the amount of competitors, it was a pretty large amount of competitors here at the Tampa Pro, especially with the men's side. I heard that there were about 80 men's physique competitors alone, just
yeah.
in that division. So
Wow.
yeah,
And you had like what? And you said it was like eight of you guys, 8 of you
yeah,
girls.
there were 8 ladies in the Masters 40 plus class.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. But I mean, yeah. The funny part is, I went to the New York Pro. Like that was like my first show that I went to, and I went. I was there late. I came late, and it was when I arrived, it was like the men's bodybuilding was on, and everybody was so excited about it, you know. And then when it was time for the women's like bikini, like a majority of people they left.
Oh wow,
Yeah, and
that's
yeah,
interesting.
like yeah, and yeah, and then when I went to the NPC when I went to the NPC Mr. Universe, they had the fit model and the wellness and bikini. It wasn't like a whole lot of people there like that, but I don't know. There's people that like it. There's people that don't like it. So especially the fit model that came, people not feeling it too much. They don't know what to make of it. You know, I remember like there was a woman like behind me, and she seems like she was a bodybuilder, fitness trainer, and she was like, I don't know what to make of this. Like, what am I looking at? It was like okay, so
Yeah, you know, ugh, I I personally I can kind of see there's some very strong points to be made on either side of the fence.
yeah,
From a business perspective, if I'm running the league and I want to continue to push the sport into future years and to also be flexible with the changing societal what's popular in society. Just like any business, you have to adapt, right?
mhm,
Um, and uh, nowadays, we just in general, like especially with us Americans, we are more accepting of things like the dad bod, the softer look, being more inclusive with different body shapes and sizes.
mhm.
That's been a running theme for you know a good decade plus on. So unfortunately, historically, bodybuilding is very much not in line with that. you know, with that openness. So, uh, and also, running a business, you want to continue, and you want to continue to have a revenue stream. And although there are people who buy tickets to go see a show, the majority of the money being made is going to most likely be the competitors who are signing up for the shows, registering, paying those fees to join a show. Um, because most shows you're paying at least, if you're a competitor, even just that, if you're even if you're not an IFBB pro, if you're just an amateur coming into an NPC show, you're paying about $160 per class, per division that you decide to go, you decide to participate in. And at the pro level, depending on your show that you're going to, you're going to be paying, anywhere from 160, three hundred
Just to
dollars
come.
or more than $300, just to register and compete in the show, with
Yeah,
the hopes of making, um, you know maybe getting one of those checks, maybe getting
yeah.
one of those checks. So, uh, you know, hey, you open up fitness model, and that just opens up a whole bigger, a new stream of ladies who they definitely don't have the same muscle tone, don't have the same level of muscle, but hey, it gives them an opportunity to participate, and it helps fuel the sport, keep it alive, keep money coming in. So I can't fault NPC or IFBB for
Yeah.
for opening up more divisions because of that. It's the nature of the business. However, I'm thinking what everybody else is thinking who's not, part of the business, which is, the spirit of bodybuilding is, the main goal is that you are showcasing exceptional muscle mass. We're not, bodybuilders are not, the majority of what people look like,
Yeah.
for a reason. And so that kind of, I guess, the spirit of bodybuilding does not align with the spirit of inclusivity and trying to open it up for the average person to come in and participate in. you know so and you look at something like the fitness model. What are the criterias for it? Because it doesn't appear that muscle uh, muscle mass is a criteria. Is it, I guess, how hard can a girl diet? Is that the criteria?
I don't know. But I mean, enough of that. I mean, I want to focus on you. But like, I noticed, how you got started into bodybuilding. You were like overweight.
Yeah. Um, so my life story, I was overweight as a kid. Most of the side of my family that I did know, my dad's side, everybody had type 2 diabetes,
Mm,
hypertension, heart disease, the whole, the whole medical stereotypical profile of um, southern black folks. so um, so I was overweight as a kid, all the way up until I hit my 20s. Then I started doing cardio, and I would just mess around in the gym a couple of times, not really knowing what I was doing. And
yeah.
then uh, I had my daughter, and during the pregnancy, I gained a good, gosh, I went from 110 pounds to 165 pounds.
Mm,
Um, and after she was born, about 3 or 4 months after she was born, my weight only went down to 155. So I knew that, wow, I just gained close to 50 pounds just in body weight. That wasn't the baby. That was me. That was just all me. So I knew I had to. I knew how to do something about it. So, I started just at home doing home exercises. I was one of the folks who would buy Beachbody's Insanity DVDs, play that while the baby is napping, get my exercises in, do walks outside, and then I slowly worked on my diet and getting that taken care of. And that's when I fixed the diet, that's really when my weight really started getting back down. And as my daughter got a little bit older, got back into working full time at my job and establishing daycare. I started going to the gym regularly and really just uh, finding those free workout plans on bodybuilding.com, from back in the day, and just following that. And after I started like just learning how to lift weights, I absolutely fell in love with it. And I loved seeing myself get stronger. I loved seeing like, the changes um, of just like sticking to something, um, developing that discipline, and just making it a part of my daily routine essentially.
Yeah.
Uh, and the rest was history. I had been working out for about close to close to 8 years before I jumped into my first bodybuilding show,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
8 years before you. Okay.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah, I mean, like for me playing the videos and stuff, you really kind of mean business. Like it was one part. Like I'm gonna just play a little bit because I played it before, but like this part, that it's like you doing a little squats, like powerlifting and stuff. Yeah.
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 It's kind of addictive to see yourself, see where you start at, and then just progressively just get stronger and stronger. So
Yeah.
I'm naturally a very competitive person. I always try to improve upon setting new benchmarks for things. So yeah, it just really fed that part of my personality, just to keep improving, keep getting stronger, keep getting better, get more efficient, see how far I can really just push myself.
Yeah. Is bodybuilding like the only sport you competed in, or you played other sports?
No, I was not into sports when I was a kid, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, I tried to play basketball. I started. I played at a late age, 17. What made me start it because I would watch people play, and like something in me would want to play, but I didn't know how to play, and just like long story short, I just kept sticking with it. So I was always mediocre and stuff. So, but yeah, yeah,
Hey,
but
doesn't
back,
matter. Do
huh?
what you love. Doesn't matter if you suck at it. Do what you love.
Yeah, yeah. I stopped though. Like, I had other things I had to do and stuff like that. But who knows? Maybe I might do it again. Yeah, but it ain't really the same because there were people that I knew they 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 stopped and some passed away and you know that's another story. I ain't gonna go deep into it. But how far do you see yourself competing?
Um, until my body tells me no more, no mas, no
Yeah,
mas.
yeah. I
And
mean,
you know, I assumed that, or I presumed that. Oh, I really only have a couple of years until everything really starts going downhill. Really starts going downhill for me because I'm already 42. I got into the sport really late.
doesn't
And
matter.
I'm sorry.
No, I said it doesn't matter. Like there's people that start, in their 40s. Like Sherry Priami, I think she started somewhere in her 40s. Like look at her, she's like a pro and she was in the Olympia. You know.
Yep. And and especially in these past three shows, competing with other masters athletes, and seeing how old they are, and they're still, doing this sport. They're still doing what they love. They look amazing, absolutely amazing, especially when you compare them to their fellow 40, 50, and 60-year olds. And so, I assumed, I was like, I'll see how long I can do it while I'm in my 40s, but I'm probably going to have to stop, in a
Well,
couple of years. So I'm just going to keep going and see what
yeah.
happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's intense. It's an intense sport. People don't understand it. they, they don't understand it, and yeah, it takes time to just, for me, just trying to like understand the prep and just certain foods to eat, like macros, counting your foods. Do you do the macro stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Um, even and uh, well, people might argue this. Especially if you're a good athlete, you're going to be counting macros even in your off season. You're going to be tracking everything. Um, but yeah, prep is it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
whole lot. you're
You
tracking
turn
ev- you're tracking everything that goes into your mouth.
Yeah. Do you turn
That
green?
I'm sorry.
Do you turn green like the Incredible Hulk when you mad?
Sometimes, especially
Oh,
when I'm deep in the prep, deep in the cut,
yeah.
and I, hanger just pops on you just at random times. You're hungry, but you can't wait. Like, you can't eat right now because you have to
Yeah.
wait until a certain time to eat. And yeah, you just kind of revert to an overly emotional teenager or a middle schooler because your emotions are all over the place because you're hungry all the time,
Yeah.
and you're tired and you're fatigued. And
Yeah.
then you're second guessing, like, what the hell am I doing to myself? Why am I doing this? I just want to eat that piece of cheesecake right there, like, and all these feelings can just go away.
I mean, I mean, I don't think I would do it, but it's a discipline. You just got to know why you doing it for. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, it's a discipline. I'm gonna show you something real quick. I don't know if you're gonna like this comment, but balls deep. He wanted a flex for me, baby girl. If you don't have to do it, if you don't want to. All right, that's a damn. Okay, that's nice. Yeah. Maybe deep down, I wanted to, I wanted to see if you was gonna do it, but yeah. No, but I mean, personally, I think you have a nice physique. I like your quads and stick. I don't want to go too deep into it, but yeah, do actual muscle worship requests or something like that. But I could play some more videos because I do like do like your highlight workouts. How often? I mean, like how many how many hours do you work out?
I try, because I have a full-time job and I have a family and I run that shop on the side. I try to keep my time in the gym limited to tucking it under 2.5 hours,
Mm,
5 to 6 times a week.
yeah,
Um, and that's more easier said than done. But normally in my off season, which I just entered into my off season now, so I get to kind of breathe a little bit for the next couple of months. But it's it's usually not an issue in my off season. But when I'm in prep, especially when you get to the down to the wire, you start adding the cardio in. and the cardio keeps ramping up and ramping up, I will have to do like two a days where I'm going into the gym at like 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning to get my cardio done for close to an hour before I run off to work. And then I come back after work and
Yeah.
then do my do my lifting weights, and I'll try to tuck that under, an hour and a half tops. But yeah, that gets a little hairy when you're getting down to the wire and prep.
What's your favorite workout?
Um, geez, I don't have I don't have a favorite workout. I will
No, that's
say the work the my favorite I guess my favorite muscle groups to work out is
right.
probably going to be my back and legs.
Yeah, I could see it. I could definitely see that. Yeah, like, cause I'm like, wow, she's thick. Like, okay, yeah. Like in the interview, you're married, but you got separated because forgive me if I'm bringing that up. I don't know if that sound like a touchy subject, you know. But you were saying that your husband didn't really understand you working out and stuff like that, and you know,
Yeah, that was early on in when I started after I started just really um after I'd gotten back in shape,
yeah,
when my daughter was still a little baby. She's 13 now. She's a raging teenager. Ugh.
yeah,
But but yeah, yeah, when she was little and I just gotten back, back in shape and what have you. Like I said, like I'm a very competitive person and I absolutely love seeing the progression. So I was, definitely dedicated to going to the gym, at least 6 days a week. And that can cause a strain in the relationship.
yeah,
And you know, going from someone who wasn't that fitness minded before in the relationship, switch over, and that's a permanent change from here on out. You know, Obviously, like, you can see how that can cause issues, especially if that person's not fitness minded either. And so it's not it's I guess what I'm trying to say is it's not so much as something that I would see as like a knock on anybody who doesn't support, because it wasn't ever like a set expectation. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like at the beginning. So
yeah,
yeah, it's just one of those factors in people's lives. They change,
right.
and sometimes that doesn't mesh with the existing relationship setup. So
No, I kind of understand like your point of view to it, because you was unhealthy. I mean, there's times I see women like in the street, some of them, you know, they not like, of course they don't look like they work out, and you'd be like, wow, it would kind of look better if she did work out, you know. They don't even have to be like fat, overweight. They're skinny and stuff like that. You don't have to be like a super bodybuilder or jacked up or something like that. But just kind of get in shape. And you know, it's not easy. So I mean, it's not easy for people to just pick up a weight or just be encouraged to go to the gym. So yeah. But it's really cool that you kind of motivated yourself to go you know work out, and it took you to another level of being on stage. And yeah, so hold on, let me see. Anything is possible. Michelle Brent and Patty Corbett compete in their 60s.
That's true. And Michelle Brent, I see her from time to time at my Gold's gym,
Yeah.
and she is amazing. She is amazing. And